Rebel Moon is back, bigger, longer, and uncut. Nobody knows why. Even the first time around, it got accused of copying loads of its ideas from other, better franchises. Its heat swords were obviously lightsabers. Even the review said his space opera descends further into a black hole of nothingness, which seemed to copy the title The Marvel Cinematic Universe disappears up its own black hole, or The Acolyte, where smashing two black holes together resulted in May and Osha. Now, to be fair, the new trailer is better than the previous trailers. But it relies very much on what the first film attempted to do, which is style over substance. It doesn't matter how much gore or adult material you put into this movie, if it still has the same plot from the first one, where everyone was weirdly obsessed with grain. Oh look, the corn's getting destroyed in slow motion. Oh look, it's a bug walking in slow motion. Oh look, we're scything in slow motion. No, seriously, we spent about half an hour harvesting grain. The villains even had a ship which had radar on it specifically to detect grain.
It's the grain piloted against the building so we can't destroy them. Stacked to discover to shoot from. Clever.
Style over substance won't save that plot, and I highly doubt he even has the ability to write a new one.
You may love or hate my movies. Vote against me is a vote for the focus group version. By saying, Snyder sucks, you're also saying, give me some more focus groups.
So what's he left in his director's cut to save? Is he going to get rid of all the blurred shots that make you feel like you're having a seizure, and a 2002 pixelated smoke CGI explosion? Like, seriously, your blurry lenses won't save you from that. And when I say blur, I mean, seriously, blah. This goes beyond, I think I need glasses, to, I think I'm having a stroke. Is he going to have changed his attitude on how you even judge a movie, or the criticism you should listen to?
Role does feedback from your audience play in shaping your creative decisions. There's three sort of ways we do it. A trusted group.
A vote against me is a vote for Happy Meals. It's a vote for focus groups. Oh yeah, I do focus groups, don't I? Yeah. Only with my friends, though, isn't it, really? That's the first one I do.
A trusted group, where I would bring in, like, a bunch of my friends who I like their opinion and I trust their taste.
Trusted taste. They agree with me. And then he says they go further out from there. They do family and friends of the cast. Then they do random people in the street. There is one group of people he doesn't ask, though.
The sort of online feedback, I don't really look at that.
Yeah. Too toxic.
If you actually start to look at the internet for opinion about your work, you can really go down a rabbit hole, and that's a dark place.
Have you tried listening to them, Zach? You might make better movies. Nah, it doesn't sound like he's going to listen to criticism, does it?
Online feedback, I don't really look at that.
And that's without even the strangest thing about this movie, its existence. One of Netflix's most controversial movies. That would imply that people had varying opinions on it, whereas 22% and 56% for the first part, alongside 17 and 48 for the second, doesn't seem very controversial to me. But it's back with a daring director's cut. And to that I ask, why?
I'm a writer. I've written half of the movies that I've directed.
I love that you never make any effort at all.
I'm not gonna say, like, you don't like my movie? What's the matter with you?
You only have to look at the first two halves to realise he already directed those as well. Those movies were his cut. There's been enough bad fighting in one movie. Like how slow it is whenever she engages with the guy who has a sword. And yet he has the gall to go out and go, well, on August 2nd, experience Rebel Moon the way I've envisioned it. That was what the first one pissing was.
For power?
I'm not even sure I can show that on you. Do I need to blur this? For the sake of argument, let's assume that all these additions fixes everything and it's now an incredible movie. Why did you release a trash one first? For some reason, the brain wakes up and starts looking at her. If the movie needed all of this new stuff to be good, why wasn't it in the first movie?
Their wrath will be my vengeance.
You made both of them. You don't have an excuse. And while some things in the trailer are a straight up upgrade, in the first movie we had a coal-powered spaceship, which is just retarded. But in the second one, they're shoveling bones and skulls into the fire. That's cool. You even find out that the engine is some kind of living being. The issue is, in the first movie, it's just some eyes open on her and nothing else happens. And you're like, well, that's stupid. It didn't make sense and actually made the movie more confusing. So the real question is, did you cut out vital information from the first movie just so you could include it in the second one and make everyone watch it again?
Their wrath will be my vengeance.
Or did you realize it didn't make sense the first time and so have added stuff into this one to try and cover over the plot holes?
Hello, James.
Who the fuck is James? Because however I spin it, even if I think some of the things in the trailer look cool, I'm just like, why wasn't it there? Like, who is this? I mean, firstly, it does look very PlayStation 2 CGI. But even so, who is this? Why are we adding new characters to the same movie? And while we're here, we should probably talk about the CGI. The CGI seems to have added in, his vision. Oh, we've now added gore. Yeah, it's all CGI, though, it is, yeah. Oh, we've got a pervert as a leader. Yeah, he's banging an octopus. Yeah, it's CGI. We've extended the runtime of this movie by 3 hours or whatever it'll turn out to be. How have you done that? Is it just by slowing down more stuff? Because that's what was in the first movie.
Otherwise, you just go right by and you'd never have a chance to appreciate the like composition, slow motion tableau.
Here's a clip of a guy running in slow motion. Who then, at the pivotal moment, transcends normal slow motion into hyper super duper artistic slow motion. Here's someone fighting in slow motion. Oh no, sorry, that's actually in real time. She just fights that slowly normally. At this point, I think Zack Snyder's main problem isn't that he's going, oh, this is the way I've truly envisioned it. Or as the media decide to run with, this is his true vision. This is his true vision. No, the main problem is, I don't know why it wasn't released this way the first time around. It's viciously sexier and bloodier than before. But what's so special about this Rebel Moon's director's cut? Well, you really get to see a lot. It's just more painted in all the way. Why didn't you do that the first time?
You're all here because there is nothing to return to.
Well, maybe it's a time thing. It's really a revelation, because you get a second kick at the can. Even the cast were surprised by how long the director's cuts versions are. They will have a whopping 6 hours of potentially bum-numbing viewing between the two movies. Even the titles are longer. And while the core story will remain the same, the new versions will be tonally, chronologically, and emotionally different. And you know what chronologically different will mean, right? Yeah, maybe they'll harvest the wheat first. We start beating it with flails, presumably because it's been naughty. What a bunch of tossers. We really do have a lot to look forward to. Personally, I'm hoping that extra hour of footage is just harvesting wheat.
Maybe some mercy's in order.
These dogs deserve nothing but our boot.
Maybe this time they've invented technology and actually do use a combine harvester.
'Cause I ain't got a brand new combine harvester.
The funny thing is, when he says it's one where in a parallel universe, it's like, what, does time run properly in this one? Everyone can actually move at a normal speed. Here it is at double speed. This is at quad speed. If he gets rid of the slow motion, he might be able to add 2 hours of extra footage rather than 1. In fact, this idea for Rebel Moon is so bad, even Paul Tassi doesn't like it. He was defending the Acolyte for 2 months straight. Rebel Moon, step too far even for him. I've seen a lot of bad decisions covering the streaming industry, but trying to create the fan fervor for a Snyder cut of Rebel Moon is one of the worst promotional ideas I've ever seen. It's a truly bizarre decision where he and Netflix are trying to quadruple dip on the same movies.
By saying, Snyder sucks.
Yeah.
You're also saying, give me some more focus groups.
The main difference in the trailer from the original, other than a robot with nipples, is that the action scenes now have CGI blood splattered on them. I actually think the main improvement is the skull and bones being shoveled into the engines. It's impossible to overstate just how bad the original 2 Rebel Moon movies are. This is somebody who liked the Acolyte.
The power of many.
I know I just said that, but I think that really needs to be hammered home.
Throbbing.
I do imagine these movies will be better, but the bar was so low they could be twice as good and still barely be watchable. The movies were missing more than just gore and nudity, even if it all felt incredibly awkward with all that ripped out of it. Gotta be honest, I don't think I watched the first one going, you can tell something's been ripped out here. I mean, she looks kind of in pain trying to kiss him, to be honest. What I really needed to see here was some clunge.
What Noble said about you being the most wanted criminal in the known universe.
We know, Zach, there's no way you didn't add one there. I'll watch it. I mean, I have to see it through. This is giving some I can't carry the ring, Frodo, but I can carry you vibes. This is just the accepted fate of a condemned man marching to the hangman's noose. Well, I guess if I have to.
Time has come. Protect each other and show them no mercy.
But I don't think many others are going to bother giving it a shot, and it's hard to blame them. I love how it's prepare to witness Zack Snyder's true vision.
I want Happy Meals.
And it turns out to just be blood and nudity.
Blood eggs. Huh. Was it?
Something that, like, my parents would have allowed me to see when I was younger as a queer person.
Gotcha.
But I would have been able to understand as a queer person.
What he really wanted to make was a vampire movie. And even Zack highlights the farce of doing this in the first place. The director's cut is a settle-in deep dive. I don't know how I got into this thing in the career, but always in the past, I had to fight for it and nobody wanted it. But with Netflix, it was planned from the start. We shot the scenes just for the director's cut. So in that way, it really is a revelation because it gives that second kick at the can for big fans. This is Rebel Moon. You don't have big fans. But also, again, if you shot the scenes specially for, put them in the pissing first movie. As always, the problem with director's cuts will be, this is close to an hour of extra content, and that just means this was the content that was too crap to be in the first one. If it was good enough to exist, it would have been put in the pissing movie, but you decided to cut it for a reason. It can't all just be to get it down to a PG-13 rating. We're not just gonna get 2 hours of staring at Sofia Boutela's chest, entertaining as that would be. And so while I hope that this fixes the movie, and it turns out to be good, I get the feeling it's just going to be like sticking lipstick on a pig, as the first two movies didn't even include character backstories outside of 2 scenes. One where they just lined them all up and told them their own backstories.
General Titus. His actions at the Battle of Sarawu precede him.
Everyone gets captured in a line and the villain walks across them, giving their entire backstory in 1 or 2 sentences each.
Commander Bloodaxe, leader of the very insurgency the King's Gaze was sent to this backwater of the galaxy to capture.
Apart from the protagonist, this is where you learn the most about people.
I would be remiss if I failed to mention we're in the presence of royalty. Harat Decimus.
And another where they just got them round a table and all repeated essentially the same backstory.
I want you to know who the hell you're fighting with. Everyone must share the truth. The decision to defy Belisarius had been mine.
Never fought in a battle like the one that's coming, but I was raised in a place that was much like this. My ancestors still lived in those ancient gauntlets.
Anything else you'd like to add?
Rather than answering his question, are you keeping something from me, is to go,
Titus pretends to drink.
did all you guys know he's keeping something from you as well? Yes, he's actually just drinking water, not vodka. We are faced with 2 questions. Are you keeping an evil secret versus is our general as drunk as he pretends to be, and they're more interested in him? And so if Zack's true vision was just, well, you know, I wanted to make a PG-18 movie, and instead I had to make one for 13, you're definitely gonna fail, as that wasn't the reason why the first one sucked. I didn't want karaoke in a sci-fi movie. What's he gonna sing next? If you wanna be my lover. We're gonna get his rendition of the Wombles of Wimbledon.
Wombling free, the Wombles of Wimbledon, common are we.
I think that's enough of that twaddle. Zack, really, what were you thinking? To fix the problems of the first one, it would require a rewrite and reshoots. And it sounds like you didn't even have the option of reshoots. You'd already filmed all the content, and so now, it looks like we're gonna get a gorier version of the plot of the first movie, with less clothes. And although that's bound to improve any movie, except maybe Schindler's List, I don't think it can save this one. But those are just my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know down in the comments below. Like the video if you like the video, subscribe. More videos like this in the future, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.